Good morning, everyone. Got another update for you regarding my migraine journey. So, today is officially my first day off of work, at the beginning of my 1 month leave, and I've got some mixed feelings about it for sure. So the backstory is a little bit, I work at a private art school and I work in the marketing department. It's a fairly busy job. I wouldn't really say it's stressful. It might be for somebody else. I'm not typically prone to stress, so I can't say that I feel stressed on a daily basis at work, but it is busy. It's a busy job. So I manage our whole email system. I manage our lead management system. I manage most of our social media. I do all of our website updates, and I'm mainly responsible for maintaining connections with local high school teachers and counselors, letting them know about the programs that we offer at our school, and potentially they may be a good fit for some of their students. So that's kind of my job in a nutshell. I've been there, actually just celebrated my 4-year anniversary. Started there in July of 2013. That is 4 years, right? Yes, it is. So yeah, I've been there for 4 years, kind of moved around a little bit within the marketing department, but have been in that department the entire time, which is very cool. I love the people that I work with. They're all super supportive and wonderful. And I've had migraines the entire time I've been working there, obviously on and off. I've been suffering with migraines since I was 13. I think I mentioned that in one of my previous videos. But have been suffering with migraines the entire time I've been there. I've gone through ups and downs in those 4 years, some pretty lengthy periods with no migraines whatsoever, and then some kind of more clustered together migraines periods that I would consider not so great. So that's the backstory. Over the last 6 months at this job, my migraines have started to change. They've become more frequent, they become a little more severe as well, and tend to bring with them some more sort of weird neurological sort of side effects, or whatever you want to call them, that I have experienced in the past but haven't really been experiencing for the past couple years. So that has led me to a place where, and for some of you guys who are my friends, you would have seen that post on Facebook, where I've kind of been put in a position where my migraines have forced my hand a little bit to take this time off away from work, just to really focus, because especially in talking to some people who are close to me and my parents, who obviously are acutely aware of my migraine situation, something I've never really done is given myself the time to really focus on it. It's always been just sort of an afterthought, and I will fully admit that after periods where I would get migraines, the days after that when I would feel good, I would tell myself literally that I would never be getting a migraine again. It's never going to happen. Don't need to worry about it. It's in the past. I do like to live in the now, but that was kind of a toxic way of doing that. So, so that wasn't working for me, obviously, because the migraines did keep coming back. Typically in a 1 month period over the last few months, I've been about a couple of sort of attacks a week, we'll call them. Varying sort of severity. Some of them would come just with aura, no pain whatsoever, so just really weird, freaky visual disturbances. Also sort of like numbness and tingling in my limbs and in my lips as well. And then other times they would definitely come with pain as well. I always get an aura no matter what. I'm typically not a headache sufferer, just like a regular headache sufferer. So either I'm aura and migraine or just aura. And I've always been pretty vocal about how the aura for me is actually the hardest part to deal with. I have seemingly a pretty high pain tolerance and can kind of work my way through the pain that comes along with migraines. I'm sure there are people out there in the world that are like shaking their head at me going like, well, you never really experienced pain. So pain to me is a little bit personal. It depends on, I think, what you're able to kind of internalize and sort of work through on your own. And I've always sort of relied on various coping mechanisms, ice pack on the head, showers seem to help. Sometimes Aleve, sometimes stronger stuff. Over the years, I've definitely taken abortives. So all the Amerge and Relpax and all that good stuff. And have over the years tried a few preventatives as well. So anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. I wanted to give you an update kind of where I'm at right now. So like I said, day 1 of my 30 days minimum off of work. And again, this is not to remove myself from any sort of stressful situation. I do appreciate that stress can be a major trigger for some people in their migraines. Definitely isn't for me. Can't really say that I am stressed in my working job or even in my personal life, and therefore has led me to believe that stress is not necessarily, or sort of classic stress, visible stress, whatever you want to call it, is not a trigger for me in my migraines. Something else had changed and wasn't working for me. So yeah, with the help of a super duper supportive boss, honestly, I can't say enough good things about her and the rest of my coworkers and everybody I work with at this art school. They encouraged me to take the time that I needed to just focus on this. Because like I said, that's something I've never done. I've always been in denial on my good days that I would never get a migraine again, and therefore it's not even worth thinking about whatsoever. So day 1 is here. Feeling pretty good today in terms of headache. I felt a bit weird the last few days. Again, I would just sort of liken it to those after effects that we all feel after we get migraines. So a little bit foggy, a little bit slow. Sometimes words are a little bit hard to find in my mouth. But generally I'm feeling pretty good. Was dealing with, more so at the end of last week, was dealing with some sort of mental health issues, which you guys don't know me at all, but I've always sort of prided myself on being a very strong, independent, low stress, no anxiety, very happy, optimistic person. And through some of the conversations that I was having to have with my boss and the HR people at work, it was really hard for me. Some of the things that I was having to have conversations about were having sort of a really weird impact on me. A great example that I tell people is having to say the sentence, my limitations, those 2 words together. Because in talking about, how I'm going to be taking this 1 month off, there obviously was conversations that came up about long-term disability, which is not my goal, but it's been something that's been talked about over the past week. That in particular was really hard for me, being, like I said, a really independent, somewhat introverted, but generally pretty happy person. Those things were really hard for me to say. And that's something that I've never really acknowledged, period, throughout my migraines, is how they were affecting my mental health, my mental well-being. Because I've started to notice over the past, 6 months or so, that who I am as a person is actually changing, and that sucks because I don't really like the person I'm becoming necessarily. Like I said, I am a bit introverted. I am a bit of a hermit. My husband and I love each other and love to spend time with each other. And so because of that, my introverted tendencies have never really been an issue. I'm super extroverted at work. Never mind my hair. I'm very extroverted at work, so people actually have a hard time believing that I am a bit of an introvert. But anyway, so dealing with the mental health issues, that was a little bit surprising to me. Not something I really expected to really encounter. I just thought, well, I'm going to take this 1 month off. It's going to be good. I'm going to do some investigation into my migraines, into my diet, and blah, blah, blah. And so that came up. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I have other experience with mental health issues. My husband definitely, and he's super open, so he won't mind me sharing, but my husband has definitely struggled with his own challenges, really more so in the form of acute anxiety. So he would be having, panic attacks and things like that. We've really gotten him to a good place over the last few years via a combination of seeing someone like a counselor, as well as some prescription medication that he does have to take every day. So, yeah, I've been touched by it, but I never thought it would come knocking at my door. So that was interesting. Like I said, I'm feeling better today in terms of my sort of headspace and where I'm at. I'm feeling pretty positive about this opportunity. I mean, how often do you get that opportunity to take a month off of whatever it is you're doing, whether it being a parent or having a full-time job or whatever? How often do we get that opportunity to take a month off and focus on ourselves? I say probably never, not very often. So regardless of the fact that I'm not having migraines every day, I am on a medical leave because of them. And more so because I've kind of had it up to here and really want to at least do my best, give it to my best effort to try and be as healthy as possible and see what impact, and I know there's going to be some, but what impact that's going to have on my migraines and the frequency and severity and all that kind of good stuff. So, the things that I've done so far, I have, like I believe I already said in a previous video, spoken with my GP. He's referred me to a headache clinic that's operated out of UBC in Vancouver in Canada. So I'm going to move forward with pursuing that option. It seems like a really sort of good holistic approach. They talk about health and diet. They talk about all kinds of things, stress in your life, all that good stuff. And then right at the very bottom of the list is prescription medication. So I kind of like that order of things. I'm not typically the first to jump on the prescription bandwagon. I know they help. But I do think, and this is probably a topic for another video, but I think our pharmaceutical industry is pretty flawed, and our medical system in general is pretty flawed. The fact that we don't have a focus on preventative medicine and how to treat ourselves effectively with food kind of pisses me off, and that the most of what our medical system has to offer is quote-unquote cures, which typically, honestly, you get more sick from whatever it is they give you to take. And again, I'm not rallying against the pharmaceutical industry or our medical industry, because there are some great doctors out there and there are some great medications that people need to take. But overall, I think it needs an overhaul, which obviously we're not getting to in this video. But anyway, so I've seen my GP. I have started seeing a chiropractor as well. He specializes in NUCCA chiropractic. So it's dealing mostly with the upper sort of necks of your spine area. Always been a little bit nervous to see a chiropractor. I always kind of was under the impression that they were sort of brutes, and once you started seeing them, you would always be in pain and kind of need to continue going back, or else you would be in pain. But this is a little bit different. NUCCA is supposed to be a little bit softer of a touch in terms of traditional chiropractic, or in comparison to traditional chiropractic. So I've started seeing this great chiropractor. I have had 2 appointments with him. The first was a consultation where he took some x-rays, talked about my alignment. We discussed my issues, kind of why I was there, what my goals were in terms of seeing him. Through looking at my x-rays, he did say that typically speaking, people who suffer from migraines because of some sort of neck or spinal issue would be a little further out of alignment than I am, and B, would have some more sort of actual present pain. In other words, when he's poking on me, it should hurt. And it didn't really hurt. Nothing hurt. So he gave me about a 50-50 chance of it being the cause. I was always a little skeptical that it was the cause anyway, but I'm in the business right now of ruling things out, crossing them off my list. So, so I did go in for a second appointment with him just yesterday, which actually was my first adjustment. Wow, it didn't really feel like anything, which I suppose is good, and I suppose is bad, considering what I paid for it, because it literally felt like nothing. So he did say people will feel one of 3 things: good, bad, or nothing. So initially I felt nothing, but I will say when I went home, I definitely could tell that something had been done to my neck. It felt weird, and my head felt a little weird, which she said is to be expected. So I'm going to go back in on Friday and see sort of where the adjustment is at, if it's stuck, because he did say that on my initial consultation, I was a little bit out of alignment. Like I said, nothing major. But then obviously after this adjustment, which focuses on postural realignment, I was back at a 1, which is good, because obviously 0 is perfect posture, perfect alignment. So, yeah, so I don't feel anything else today. I feel really great today in terms of that sort of weird sort of pain and feeling that was in my head after yesterday. So yeah, feeling really good. And that's pretty much the update for today. I don't want to ramble on too much. Like I said, I'm going to try and post once a day so that I can kind of keep like a little bit of a daily vlog, if you will, of my experiences. I do have some more stuff to share, but like I said, I don't want to share it all in one video. So by all means, please subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll get notifications when I do post new videos, which like I said, ideally will be once a day. So anyway, that's it for me for today. This is Megan signing off.